There was an age when the earth breathed with a rhythm far older than anything that exists today. No cities, no voices, no footprints, only silence and life. A silence so pure that even the wind seemed sacred. Forests stretched endlessly, rising like emerald walls toward a sky untouched by smoke or metal. Oceans shimmered like liquid light, carrying secrets from the beginning of time. This was the Cretaceous era, a world ruled not by humans, but by titans carved by nature's ancient hand. Across the thick green plains, herds of triceratops moved like armored caravans, their horns slicing the warm air as they traveled in unbroken unity. Their heavy footsteps shook the ground softly, a reminder that the earth once belonged to giants. In the skies above them, massive pterosaurs glided like floating continents, their wings catching the sunlight and scattering it across the land like shards of gold. And deep within this living kingdom walked the undisputed ruler of the land, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. 2 tons of raw muscle and primal instinct. Its breath was the heat of survival. Its roar was the voice of ancient Earth itself. Every creature knew its shadow. Every step it took echoed through forests that had stood for millions of years. The world did not know fear. It simply lived. Herbivores grazed on endless forests of ferns, cycads, and towering conifers that covered entire continents. Predators hunted at dawn when the first light painted the ground in long, trembling shadows. Every creature had a role, a purpose, a story written in muscle and bone. Their world was wild, but perfectly balanced. A harmony older than mountains, older than oceans. But destiny was already moving. Far above this paradise, in the silent vacuum of space, something small, something insignificant, had begun a journey, a fragment of rock born from the collision of two forgotten worlds. For millions of years it drifted alone, carried by invisible forces crossing the asteroid belt, gliding past Mars, slipping quietly into Earth's gravitational path. No dinosaur looked up. No bird sensed it. No forest whispered its arrival, yet it was coming. And the Earth, that beautiful, breathing world, remained unaware. Volcanoes erupted in fiery chains, carving new mountains and feeding the sky with crimson smoke. Lava rivers glowed like veins of the planet itself. Life adapted, evolved, and multiplied. Herds of ankylosaurs lumbered across plains, their armor glinting in the sunlight like living shields. Groups of hadrosaurs crossed ancient rivers, their echoing calls bouncing off distant cliffs like primitive songs in the swamps. Tiny compsognaths darted through mud and reeds, curious and clever. Agile predators watched them from behind ferns, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And in the deep forests, their shafts of golden sunlight that fell like liquid fire, the first flowers bloomed. Bees and insects danced from petal to petal, carrying the future on their wings. Above the treetops, the microraptor glided silently, for wings shimmering like polished obsidian, mastering flight in a world that had never needed it before. Life thrived everywhere on the ground, in the trees, in the sky, underneath ancient roots. Tiny mammals hid in burrows, watching the world from the shadows. They were small, fragile, insignificant. No one noticed them. No one chased them. They waited. They survived. The harmony of the Cretaceous was delicate, a masterpiece balanced on a single invisible thread. And then, that thread snapped. The asteroid finally entered Earth's neighborhood, silent, cold, relentless. It crossed the moon's orbit. It fell faster. The air around it began to burn. A trail of fire appeared in the sky, brighter with each heartbeat. The dinosaurs below continued their lives, unaware that their world was counting its last moments. The sky shifted. Colors changed. Birds stopped singing. The earth held its breath. Above the Yucatan Peninsula, where the sea curved into a perfect arc, fate aimed its blow. The fireball grew larger every second, tearing through the atmosphere with the scream of a dying star. It was enormous, 10 kilometers across, but carrying the force of the end of an era. And then, light, a flash that swallowed the sun, a roar greater than anything Earth had ever heard. In a single instant, The peaceful morning of the dinosaurs became the beginning of the end. The asteroid tore through the final layers of atmosphere like a blade through silk. Its surface glowed white-hot, then blue, then a blinding gold, brighter than anything to ever appear in Earth's sky. A burning sphere of doom, falling at 70,000 kilometers per hour, carrying with it the end of an age. Below, the dinosaurs froze. They did not understand, but they felt it. Instinct whispered danger. The ground trembled. The air thickened with heat. A strange wind swept across the plains, bending the ferns and rippling the rivers. The last dawn of their world had arrived, though none of them knew it. In the final seconds, the asteroid casts a shadow larger than mountains. Then dash impact today. Burst of energy erupted with the force of more than 100 million megatons. The sea exploded upward, vaporized in a single breath. The Earth's crust rippled like water. Rock turned to fire. Air turned to flame. A shockwave roared outward in every direction. Faster than sound, tearing forests from their roots and reducing entire landscapes to ash. Everything within thousands of kilometers ceased to exist, not burned, not broken. Simply erased. A tsunami rose from the impact site, a wall of ocean over a kilometer high. It moved with the weight of continents racing across the globe, devouring coastlines and swallowing entire ecosystems in silence. But the horror had only begun. From the sky, fire rained, billions of fragments of molten rock thrown upward by the impact and flung around the world began falling back through the atmosphere. Each one was a falling star, a burning spark, a tiny apocalypse. At first, they came as single streaks, then dozens, then thousands, until the sky turned into an endless storm of fire. Wherever these fragments fell, forests ignited instantly. The Earth became a planet of flame. Within hours, every continent burned. Every horizon glowed red. Every breath tasted of smoke. The world of the dinosaurs, once green and alive, became a furnace. For days, the rain of fire continued. Then, slowly, painfully, the flames subsided. But what came next was worse. The Ash Age, a world with no sun. The sky, once blue and vast, was now a suffocating blanket of black ash. Millions of tons of dust, smoke, sulfur, and vaporized rock rose into the atmosphere, blocking the sun completely. Day and night fused into the same cold darkness. Temperatures dropped. The Earth began to freeze. Photosynthesis stopped. Plants withered. Rivers shrank under layers of soot. The survivors, the last triceratops, final hadrosaurs, lone raptors, even the mighty Tyrannosaurus, searched desperately for food that no longer existed. Their world, once vibrant and full, had become a silent wasteland. The dinosaurs did not die in one night. They died slowly from starvation, from cold, from the collapse of every ecosystem they depended on. In the oceans, algae died first. Fish soon followed. The great marine reptiles vanished into the silent depths. On land, the giants collapsed one by one. Their bones cooled in the ash. Their roars faded into memory. The age of the dinosaurs ended, but life does not die. It waits beneath this world of ash and silence, in burrows and cracks, in muddy riverbanks. Something survived. Tiny mammals, no bigger than modern rats. Insects, amphibians, small birds with primitive feathers. Creatures so small the dinosaurs never noticed them, yet destined to inherit everything. While giants fell, the smallest endured. They hid from the cold. They fed on seeds, insects, roots, anything left behind. They outlasted the darkness. And when, after years, the skies finally began to clear, sunlight touched the earth once more. Ice melted. Rains cleansed the ash. Green returned slowly, humbly, beautifully. Moss grew first, then ferns, then the first brave flowers. The earth took a breath again, and from the shadows, the survivors emerged into a world without giants, a world ready to begin anew. The age of the dinosaurs had ended, but the future, our future, had just begun.